hello, how are you? I hope you've had a restful, eventful, productive, or overall positive week thus far. If not, I'm sorry that you're going through such difficult times. I struggled quite a bit to get this vlog done. A lot of that is because I started binging the Last Kingdom TV show when I should have been editing this video, and then I started reading the books. There is 13 volumes and I'm currently on book 4. But here we are, a week late, but I've gotten quite an eventful vlog this time. Or at least eventful in my terms, since I rarely go outside. There's some studio upgrades, hanging up some art, some life things, and of course there's a painting process. I talk about what motivates me to keep going during one of the painting sessions, and I also talk a little bit about that new series I'm working on. And we end this video with goals, reflecting on August and setting new goals for this month. Hi, my name is Sin. I'm an aspiring artist trying to create a small stationery business called Monotonous Diary. And this is my video diary of my art journey. Good morning. It is Wednesday. My latest vlog just went up, and normally I don't film on a Wednesday when the vlog just got posted, but I finished it last night. So today I have some extra free time, and I just got some clamps for my LED light so I can clamp it to the bookshelves instead of having this like tripod thingamabob. So I thought I'd take you along to see the before and after and what clamps I got to make this work. And hopefully it'll work because I'm getting kind of tired of having like the tripod base on my desk. It gets in the way and my brushes are right next to it, so I'm kind of like worried about my brushes getting all up in that mess. So this is the final setup. I've tweaked the lights a bit so that they are shining the way that I sort of relatively want them to be. I'll probably tweak it more as I'm actually working, but this just helps so that at nighttime I have good lighting that is mostly in front of me and not behind me, because having like a shadow from behind me is worse than having a shadow from directly above me. It's not super great for filming because, as you can see, like with my hand and the shadow right underneath, like the shadow is still pretty harsh. So when I'm filming, I'm usually filming from this angle here or this angle here and using my right hand so that the shadow is pointing that way and it's not directly like on the piece of artwork. So if I had that piece of artwork here and the paintbrush, the shadow you can see is underneath my hand and slightly off to the right side. There is another cast that is to the left side, but it is much lighter because that light is much further away versus this one is just directly above. So that way my shadow's not going to be in the way of me painting. It's going to be much nicer for the camera, and like the best part is that I get my table space back. Like I don't have tripod legs in a way anymore and I can actually use the space. The downside is that these are wired remotes, so that's the remote there, and then the other remote is over here, which is kind of like not quite long enough. They're connected via USB, so I have a tiny like USB hub back here that is then plugged under the desk to, I think, this power strip. So wiring is a little chaotic, but it's mostly hidden, and I mean, it's still better than before, so that's my current setup. So I have a bunch of these mini artworks that I framed from other artists, and I haven't put them up in my studio yet. I think I figured out the layout of my studio, and I'm pretty happy with how everything is right now. So I want to find a space to start putting these up and make it feel more homey and creative. So I'm thinking a few of them can go here in this empty space under that artwork. And then maybe some fill over here. So I ended up putting them all over here underneath this artwork, right in front of my computer working space for my day-to-day in business. And even though like when you're sitting down, you can only see like the top 2 rows and then the one down here by Aravel, I put the rest of these there because if we go around to my other computer, this is my gaming and video editing computer and my journaling workspace, you can actually see like the other 3 artworks. If you look beyond my air filter and my plants, you can see the rest of them. And if anything, like I see the rest of the wall, but honestly, it's probably going to be covered by my air filter. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. So this poor frame fell off the wall and kind of just absolutely destroyed itself when it fell. It held a really beautiful screen printed artwork from this artist that I will show on the screen because I don't remember the name right now, but this is a screen printed hand-drawn artwork of Loki from season 2 of the Loki TV show. It is absolutely beautiful and I'm so sad that it fell. It kind of crinkled one of the corners, but I think it's gonna be okay. I think the frame will hide it again. I really like this frame. I did get it off Amazon because it's like strangely really hard to find frames and decent looking frames that just match the aesthetic, and I didn't want to get something boring like a black or white frame. So I got this off Amazon. I used the 3M sticky tape, but I think my walls are kind of like, it's a matte dusty finish. Like when I say dusty, I mean like chalky. This is not the first time I've had the 3M fail on me and the frame just completely fell down. There was another one down in my den and that is just now forever propped up on the table instead. So, I'm gonna get rid of this. We're gonna use a proper mount if I can save this frame, but basically, let's see if I can put this frame back together so that it's still usable. So I tried using super glue here. It absolutely did not work and I kind of just threw it to the side for a couple days before grabbing my hot glue gun, and that ended up actually working. But I didn't film any of it because I had low hopes that it will actually work. But it did, and I did end up using more of the 3M Velcro tape again, except this time I just slapped it onto the wall in one go without really trying to straighten it. So it's a little crooked, but it's on the wall still, and that's really all I care about. Recently, I had a friend ask me what success in art looks like to me. Unfortunately, I do not have one of those personal and emotional reasons. Money has always defined success in my family. Having money meant having a roof over our heads and food on our plates. We were always pushed to do better, be better, climb the ladder, and earn more.
I started out working in retail when I graduated art school. It was kind of a disappointment because my family wanted me to get a more important job with my degree, something within the industry and something I could work towards a higher paying position. But I hated my major and the work that it involved, and I was never really able to find the passion needed to land a job in that industry. So I got a job at a stationery and gift store. It was honestly the first job I applied to and really wanted. A job that I walked in and handed my resume directly to the manager. Back then, first impressions were made in person and applications were filled out by hand. They didn't pay much, as is with any retail jobs back then, and the raises were at most 50 cents, even when getting a promotion that came with more responsibilities. But I really loved that job. I learned how to be a salesperson, how to teach people the wonders of crafting and art. My passion for arts and craft was so obvious to everyone. The neighboring store even hired me to create seasonal signage for their store. The jobs I had after that never really brought out the same amount of passion from me. I went through a couple more retail jobs before getting a corporate job. I knew I'd be unhappy sitting around all day, but since the company was a startup and it was the era where small companies wanted to make work environments more fun and engaging, each department had quarterly budgets to spend on whatever we wanted as a team. I took full advantage of that to set up workshops, gifts, and activities for my team. Because our team had the most laborious and mind numbing job ever. So these things kept us sane, happy, and dedicated. But like every job, there's always an end. While my latest job brought me more money than I'd ever thought of getting, it was very depleting. I felt no passion for it. I never felt excited for the new day. I kept wondering how long this job will last before I'm let go. I put in just enough effort to get the job done, but in the end, I knew I would never want to go back again. So, what does success look like for me? Originally, I thought it was just the money. People always say that you don't need to love your job to do your job. And that's true. But without even the small bits of enjoyment in my job, I really had a hard time doing the job. For this year, while I've been on and off applying for jobs, I've mostly spent my time creating art. And each time I find myself creating something better than the last. And that's a really, really satisfying feeling. It might be egotistic of me to say that I pride myself for how far my art has improved this year, but this is what makes me happy, and this is what I've been wanting for years without realizing, because I keep getting told that higher paying jobs in corporate is the only way to be successful. So even though my parents are constantly worried that I'm not making money, I found more satisfaction and happiness in my artworks than earning six figures. Of course, I do wish for my art to make enough money so I can continue to make more art without worrying about how I'm going to pay for rent. I know that a lot of people do the job for the money and then use the money to do what they enjoy, but I'm having a really hard time settling into that process again. So, for me, success is not only about being able to make the money, but also to enjoy the job that makes the money. It's the whole reason I've been putting so much effort this year to improve my art, to start an online shop, to learn what it's needed as a business owner, to learn all the ways of marketing, and so forth. I know how hard it is to start from scratch, especially with a small following and during this economic climate. And I am grateful for all the past jobs I've suffered through because they paid me enough for me to do this without having to worry about paying rent for a while longer.
How often do you guys wash your palettes? I feel like some of these I've had for a while and have just never washed them. But a couple of these are actually pretty new. Or not pretty new. A couple of these are actually recently washed. But they all kind of, like I'm kind of tired of keeping a lot of these in this current state where it's like Like there's still a good amount of paint on there-ish, sort of. More like watercolor consistency amounts. But I've noticed that when I try to like use as much that's left on the palette as possible, I kind of end up with a lot of muddy colors. So I think it's better that I just take some waste and just wash these off every now and then. Like some of these, like this color, I think I will constantly use a lot. Maybe I don't really need to clean this palette, but also it's kind of nice to start with like a fresh, clean palette, you know? So let's clean these today. These are all gouache and watercolor, so everything is water soluble and therefore it is okay to go down the sink. This is my butcher palette. This is what I use to squeeze my gouache paints out on and then just continuously use. You can see it gets really muddy. Like this green will always have a hint of gray to it. And then like this orange used to have yellow and it never worked out. So I moved away from using the butcher palette because of that. And I also just went very precious with my paints whenever I'm using the butcher palette. Like I don't squeeze out enough paints. And after switching to what I use now, I've noticed that to get like a really good coverage of gouache that is opaque, I really do need a lot more paint than I think I do. So this butcher palette really doesn't help with that. And even though there's like chunks of paint on there, they're kind of dried and I'm not super fond of these colors anyway, so I'm fine just getting rid of them. It's not that much. It'll be fine. So let's give these a good soak. If you're wondering where I get some of these palettes from, a lot of these are from Daiso. This is like from their, what is it? The kitchen area. So this is like saucepans. And this one's like 3 saucepans. I really like these because it's much higher in, what is it, height. But also it's just cheap for like a ceramic or porcelain container that I use as a palette. These two are actual like artist palettes and whatnot that you get from the art store. This one is from Mazuri, I believe that's how you call it, Mazuri, with their art kits. I got a watercolor kit from the artist Iravel. And then this is also Daiso. It's just one of those like little trays, little Daiso one. They cost $1.50, or at least they used to cost $1.50 until, you know, I think now they're like $3, which is kind of a lot for these, so I don't buy them anymore. But luckily I have quite a few. These are also Daiso. They're just bowls. So I think these are ceramic bowls. Again, in the food aisle. And then the last thing I have is a butcher palette. This one I got from the art store. It's actually pretty well known and pretty popular for like acrylic painting, oil painting, or even watercolor painting. The other ones that I didn't have to clean this time, I have another well. This one is more for watercolor painting or inks because the wells are much deeper. Where did I get this? I think this was an art store order. And then I have a plastic well. This one is also pretty common. This one for sure from one of the art stores, but it's plastic. It's okay. It does stain. I generally don't like the plastic palettes because they stain. And then the last one that I use is this, which is specifically for acrylic painting. And this is actually, it's not a paint palette. This is a fidget pop toy. But because it pops out, it's really easy to just like peel off the acrylic paint. Like this one, if you can see. All that just peels right off. And like small wells, when I'm doing small, tiny paintings, it's just perfect for that purpose. So those are the palettes that I use. Guys, I have missed the opportunity to do this quite a few times now, but I just got an order in from my Etsy shop, and while I've gotten a couple between my Etsy and my Shopify, I have not once recorded a pack your order video. And I was actually planning like another video when my phone suddenly went off. It went cha-ching and I was like, what's going on? And I saw that I got an Etsy order. So let's pack an Etsy order. This one is for Sarai. So this is the thank you letter that you get with every order. I will personalize it by putting your name on it. Sarai, and then hope that I actually spelled it correctly because I am terrible at spelling. So thank you, Sarai, for this wonderful order. You now, if you watch my videos, get to see your order being packed. So with this one, so Sarai ordered one of my prints, my 5x7 prints on a matte paper. This is double-sided thick cardstock. And this one is What If There Were Fishies in the Sky? Done in watercolor and gouache paint. They also ordered one of my ladybug stickers. This one is on a glossy laminate vinyl, waterproof and weather resistant. And with that, because there's a print, it's gonna go in a flat, rigid mailer. And I'm also gonna include a little freebie, which is just me, myself, and my icon. It's my little logo for now. So with my packaging, I always put it in a cellophane bag just for safety, you know, in case things get wet, because the print itself is not waterproof, while the stickers are. Throw that and this in there. On the back side, we will have the thank you card and a little freebie. Try and place that just right. There you go. And then it will go into the envelope. I'll seal it later once I put the packing sheet on. But the last thing that I like to do is slap on a little thank you sticker. These are the glossy laminate ones in sort of like a postage stamp design, just to make it a little personal. So figure out where that is and try to center this as much as I can. It's gonna be kind of hard when looking over the camera. And that's it. I'm gonna slap on the label on the front side. I usually don't do any more decoration beyond that, because in my county, there's actually a lot of mail theft, so I don't want to make it look too, you know, expensive and worth stealing kind of thing. So that's all I'm gonna do. Thank you, Sarai, for your order. So the last video I posted was actually the first of a new series called Dear Diary. I spent a good few weeks writing the story before coming up with the doodles for the sticker sheet. And the purpose behind this concept was for me to improve my creative writing skills alongside the drawing and painting skills. And with that, I thought it would be fun to have a sticker sheet with a hidden story behind it. That story can be found via the QR code in the corner of the sticker sheet. This first diary entry is about ants and all the frustrations I've had to deal with. And I think my future stories will have a similar theme of it being based on some mundane thing happening at home, very much sticking to the diary voice. I'm not quite sure how often I'll be creating these. My thought was once a month for now, since creating an 8-minute long story is actually much harder than I thought.
This first Dear Diary sticker sheet can be found on my online shop along with the story at monotonousdiary.com. I wanted to end this video with a reflection of the August goals and go over my September goals. And yes, this is going to be a voiceover because there's a lot of thought on this topic, and I probably would spend another half hour trying to talk my way through it if I didn't write it all down. I don't usually set goals because oftentimes goals tend to stress us out and make us feel worse when we don't achieve them. I've also been in the mindset of doing as much as I can handle and enjoy doing them without burning out or feeling incompetent if I don't do something that I've set out to do. Instead, I use tasks. I'll assign tasks to do during specific days, but that doesn't mean I have to complete it that day. I can easily move the task to another day and shift my self-imposed deadlines or rearrange the projects. All of this is done in my Notion app. But during August, I decided to create a goal list, mainly to see if it's possible for me to complete what I think is achievable. By the end, it'll tell me what is actually achievable. So the list was complete August Adventures Art Challenge, which is 4 prompts. Complete August for Artist Art Challenge, which is 8 prompts. Make 3 journaling sticker sheet designs. Make 3 bookmark designs that complements the sticker sheets. Figure out how to take better product photos, and make 1 sale. What I managed to complete were the majority of the 2 art challenges, 1 sticker sheet design, but not for journaling, and redoing all of my product photos, and I had 3 sales. I thought I'd have more time in between art challenges to work on the sticker sheets and bookmark designs because the art challenges weren't daily. One of them was 4 prompts, the other was 8 prompts, but in reality, I found my month mostly working on those prompts and my artist vlogs. I also forgot to schedule myself days off and literally worked every day for 2 weeks, so by the 3rd week, I was exhausted and I found myself not wanting to work on anything. Thus, I made the mistake of starting a new TV series that's 5 seasons long, and it was so good that I binged every day for the rest of August instead of finishing the last few prompts. But honestly, I didn't have a clear idea for those 3 prompts anyways, so clearly they weren't exciting enough for me to escape my TV binge. But that's okay. I do the monthly challenges so that I can improve my art skills, not necessarily set myself with stressful deadlines. So for September, I will not be working on any art challenges. Instead, I'm going to focus on creating art for my shop. As much as I enjoy the art challenges and I've learned so much about drawing and painting, I find it hard to turn them into products beyond prints. And those generally sell the worst and is not what I primarily want for my business products. So my September goals will include the following. Make 1 Dear Diary video, make 2 vlogs, make 3 journaling sticker sheets, make 3 regular bookmarks, make 2 magnetic bookmarks, and make 2 sales. In total, there are 9 finished artworks listed, all of which will end up as a product item. That's less than what I did in August, but there are more videos involved. While I'm now used to doing 2 vlogs every month, Dear Diary is another long-form video that also includes a creative writing piece and a finished sticker sheet product. The biggest challenge this month will be coming up with ideas and prompts for myself. While I really want to make more products, especially stickers, and get into making notepads, I've decided to list the goals that I know are achievable and then anything else is additional. It's a great way to feel more accomplished than you set out, plus understand your own limitations. You'll notice that there's nothing about social media goals beyond the vlogs. This is because social media is volatile. In essence, social media content is beholden to my art creating. I will create social media posts as I create. And if that ever changes, I'll probably talk about it in a future vlog. I hope you enjoy this week and a half-ish vlog. There was quite a bit, but I do want to share things that happen outside of just making art because I don't actually spend all my time painting. Don't forget to check out my first Dear Diary video. You can also purchase the sticker sheet and any of my merch on my online store at monotonousdiary.com or my Etsy shop. Both are linked in the description below. If you enjoy my videos, please leave a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Any bit of your support helps. If you don't want to do any of that, then that's okay too. You watching all the way to the end of this video also helps. Thanks for watching.